Here is Chief Meteorologist Chase Jones.
Well, it was a good sunset, but don't let that sun deceive you because it was definitely pretty cold out there with those strong winds pushing out of the north, and they're going to stay that way for the next couple of days as we continue to deal with these temperatures around those 30s. Pretty beautiful night, though, as we continue to deal with some of these Arctic conditions. Temperatures over the last 24 hours just hugging the bottom of the chart, staying in those teens, making their way up into those mid-20s, and then we're cooling down actually pretty slowly. We're leveling around somewhere in those lower teens, and we're going to see how fast we get there. 21 in San Angelo, everybody else in a combination of those lower 20s across the entire region. We've been tracking it all day. 19 in Sterling City, 23 down there in Junction, 4 degrees across the entire Concho Valley. But the wind chill is what we've been focusing on for the past couple days. 6 degrees in Sterling City, 10 in San Angelo, 23 down there in Junction. Well, at least it feels like it. So the only warm place here is Junction right now. But by tomorrow, everybody's going to warm up around those 30s. And by the weekend, pushing up into those 80s finally. We just got to get through this week, and the moisture tracker is going to show you where we're tracking a little bit of instability making its way in by the weekend. I have the data pushing in for the Futurecast. Looking like a good chance for some icing before we warm up. Now, the upper level pattern is showing you where those pockets of cold air will try to fight their way in by the weekend. But right off the west coast, some pretty strong ridging is going to push us all the way up into those 80s. And then I think we're going to level out in those 70s. Finally, some normal weather. When we look at the water vapor imagery, there is another shape of cold weather. It's always in that triangle. Somewhere around Nevada and Utah is always where we have our eyes peeled for it. When we look at the Concho Valley and the dry air pushing off towards the east, that's a good indication that we're on the backside of that cold weather and we're on the warm-up. Severe weather outlook across the entire nation, pretty quiet except where it has been in Florida, finally dying down as that storm starts to push off the east coast. Winter weather alerts still going strong, and they have been for about 3 days now, if not dealing with them across the northern part of the nation for 3 weeks, if not the entire month of February. Down into the Concho Valley, because we're trying to get a better look at some of this icing come around Friday. Now, we're going to keep our eye on this cloud cover as it continues to skirt across the northern part of the Concho Valley. That's just because all those strong winter storms continue to push through the area. Going to see a little bit of that strong winds from the north, but then they're going to turn out of the south. Now, this is Friday morning. Keep your eye off towards the eastern side of the Concho Valley. As we continue to see the prefrontal warming make its way in, some light icing Saturday morning before things start to warm up. Now, it's still pretty early. Good chance it could just turn into rain, if not some low cloud cover, but we'll continue to track these temperatures as we get closer towards the weekend. Now, they're hovering well below freezing, and then we're going to warm up just before sunrise pretty fast up into those 30s. But as long as it stays cold by Friday and Saturday, the good possibility for some icing. Tonight, back down into those lower teens, partly cloudy and pretty windy. If you have to go outside, please bundle up. That goes for tomorrow as well, and then take your time. It still has the possibility of being pretty slick out there, but we're on the warm-up. So by Thursday, we're going to be in those 30s, and as well as Friday. By Saturday, have our eye out for a little bit of that icing with that low cloud cover, but we're going to warm right up into those 70s by Sunday. By the last week of February, hovering around those 80s while those overnight lows finally warm up into those lower 50s. Stay tuned. More for the break. You're watching KSAN News at 10.